Hello, everyone. Today is day 2 of our 7-day vlog challenge, or whatever you want to call it. So yesterday was an awesome day. We started off going to church. That was at the very early service, so I was really tired, but the message still came across. And after that, we went to Panera, got a little bit of work done, and then we went to my cousin's book club, which is called Minds Matter Book Club, which was amazing. And then after that, we went to our friend Daniel's church, and they have this little discussion thing called Explore God. And it just asks questions about God, like, is God real, and things like that. And then, that was our day, pretty much.
Yeah. And you mentioned to me a little while ago that you believe the overlying message across the Sunday morning service, the book club meeting with your cousin, and Daniel's church meeting at later on that evening, you thought the overlying message was about vulnerability. And my question to you is, what does vulnerability mean to you?
Well, to start off, I want to say that being vulnerable is important, especially in relationships, and that's how everyone is connected through relationships. And what does it mean to me?
Yeah.
I guess it just means being open and not letting pride and anything get in the way of the truth. Being vulnerable is really about just expressing the real truth. So, what do you think?
I'm kind of similar. So I think vulnerability is basically being open about whatever your highest truth is. And what I mean by highest truth, I don't mean the truth that I'm not talking about that truth that you share with people all the time comfortably. I'm talking about that truth that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. And I believe Gary Vee talks about that a lot, and also David Meltzer. And they both talk about the importance of embracing that part of yourself, because a lot of people, they want to show the truth. That's easy, if they have a lot of money, they want to show that truth, but they don't want to talk about their self-esteem issues. Maybe they have high self-esteem, but they don't have a dime to their name, and they don't want to talk about that truth. And I believe vulnerability is sharing those truths that make you very, very uncomfortable. And I believe that it's something that if you do it enough, it kind of builds up a muscle memory that makes it easier. And plus, what I found personally is that when you share your truth with people and when you make yourself vulnerable, they tend to trust you a lot more. So that's why everywhere I go, I kind of tell people a little bit of my story, and I purposefully add a little bit of embarrassment in it, because a lot of the things that you would have to share if you want to be vulnerable, and there's strength in being vulnerable. It doesn't necessarily mean being weak, but if you want to be vulnerable, a lot of times that means having the humility to share with somebody something that other people wouldn't necessarily say about themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much what it means to me.
Cool. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to ask you something.
No problem. But what do you think vulnerability does for your business?
It's pretty much the same. Whether it's in business or your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with family members, friends. I feel like it's all the same, and I feel like it strengthens the relationship because it gives insight of who you really are. And it's I don't know, it's kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. What do you think?
For me, I just think it makes you a better leader. A lot of people, I feel like they feel like you have to be basically
like a robot.
Yeah, like a robot. Like everything you have you do has to be perfect and to a T. And I just really don't feel like that's necessarily the case. I actually found recently that people love to follow people who are vulnerable. People like to follow people who are imperfect. And that's been the case throughout history. Is a lot of our leaders, as powerful as they may seem at sometimes, they do have vulnerable moments and they show vulnerability. And on the inverse of that, what I have noticed, if you have a certain leader who is never vulnerable, then there might be some disconnect there.
Like, it kind of makes people trust you more.
Yeah, and I think it solves that problem with the disconnect of like, oh, nothing, bothers them. And if nothing bothers you, you just don't necessarily seem relatable. You don't necessarily seem human at that, at that point. And people want to be part of your overall story. So if you're weak in this area and you can admit to people that you're weak in that area, the people that you want to work with will help you in that area because they want to be seen as part of something bigger. And that's something that I didn't know when I first got into business, so I always tried to make myself seem bigger and better than what I actually was. But at the end of the day, you're human just like anybody else, and you make mistakes, and you suck at something. You probably suck at several things.
And everybody doesn't have good days all the time.
Yeah.
And I need that reminder.
So it's not even any point in being perfect sometimes, because I believe that it'll get you a lot of attention in the short run, but I don't think it builds loyalty in the long run.
Yeah. And we can post some notes like the book we were talking about at the book club meeting, and maybe like a couple of scriptures from our pastor below in the description or whatever you want to call it. And I remember what I had to say. It was what Ricky said. It was that every beautiful person this lady just fell. Every beautiful person.
She just laughed at somebody because they failed. And we're sitting in front of
I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna cut this off. Anyways.
No, they're gonna see it.
Anyways, what was the quote? It was like every beautiful person like went through something to make them become beautiful, or it was worded a little bit better than that, but
basically what it was saying is that like the struggles in your story is what make the story so beautiful. And I think a lot of times
makes you.
Yeah, I think sometimes people kind of forget that and think like, oh, if I have a perfect story, then people will like want to hear it more. But in all actuality, that's just making you less and less of a person. That's making you less
of like a credible source.
Yeah, people want to hear about the time where you got put out of your apartment, or the time where you had to sell your car just to, have money in your pocket to eat with. People want to hear about that stuff, and a lot of times you kind of
told that like your story isn't for you.
Yeah, it's for somebody else.
Somebody else has it worse than you, or maybe even the same, and they don't know how to get through it. But with your story being told, that might give them a little bit more hope.
Like one of my mentors, before I even started in real estate, he told me about like the time where he was so broke, where he ate out of a trash can, like, and when I heard that story, I knew for a fact, like, no matter what happened in business, and trust me, there have been some catastrophic days so far, but no matter what happened, I wouldn't quit, because to go from eating out of a trash to being a multi-millionaire in his early 20s, people need to hear that. They need that fuel to look up to. And I feel like some people kind of lose sight of that, and I almost did. There's a lot of times where I try to seem just better than what I am, and the fact of the matter is I make just as many mistakes as you do, if not more, most likely more.
And that's really the point of this YouTube channel, is because we want to show people like the real stuff, the gritty stuff, the stuff that makes you uncomfortable.
Because entrepreneurship isn't like, it sucks sometimes. Like, seriously. Like, everybody makes it seem so glamorous on like Instagram and YouTube.
Like taking like those entrepreneur pictures where they're at their laptop, like.
And it's like that sometimes. There are days where it's awesome. Like, I went to a Bulls game the other day, but I didn't pay for anything. So, like, I was really blessed with that. But that's not every day. And especially in the beginning. In the beginning,
It's uncomfortable. It's
you
stressful.
lose a lot of money.
I have a gray hair.
Yeah, she has. I'm not that bad. I handle stress a little bit better than that. But yeah, it's. I want to show people that the journey isn't all that it's cracked up to be, but it is very, very worth it. So you guys, right now, you're seeing me pretty much in the middle of my first projects, and honestly, I have not made that much money yet. But I kid you not, in a very, very short amount of time, in the very near future, we're going to be pretty wealthy, and you know, by most people's standards. So we just want to show you that journey, because a lot of people, you know, they don't start posting videos until they're in a Maserati, and I drive a Kia Rio right now. So.
Yep. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Later.